Hello there, my name is Anna Lundberg. I'm the founder of One Step Outside, author of Leaving the Corporate 9 to 5 and host of the Reimagining Success podcast. Now last week we looked at how to diversify and why and when to diversify your income streams, your traffic sources and so on to really strengthen your business and make it more resilient through times like this, through adversity and uncertainty. This week I want to look at something related to that, slightly different, which is how to know when to pivot. So when to change direction in your business. Now, if you know me at all, you'll know that I am a big believer in persistence and being resilient and sticking with something, swallowing our ego, keep going, work towards our goals, and we will ultimately succeed. However, sometimes it can just be pig-headed, just to keep going with something that blatantly isn't working, that nobody actually wants. We're wasting time and money. And so it's really important to understand, okay, should I be pivoting? Should I be tweaking and changing what I'm doing? Should I be persisting? Should I just keep going and it will eventually work? Or should I pull the plug and give up entirely? Now, this is a tricky one, and the risk is, and what I see most people do, is that we give up too soon. So things get a little bit difficult, or a lot difficult. The energy and enthusiasm we had at the beginning of the business dissipates, because that's always going to happen. It's going to become less sexy, less exciting as time goes on, as we get into the real hustle, the real work of actually launching and running a business, in particular running and growing the business ongoing, which is always going to have some elements that aren't as fun and sexy as the exciting phase of starting. The danger is we go from idea to idea to idea. So suddenly something gets a bit difficult. Oh, that's not working. Oh my gosh, this is really exciting. I'll start this one again. So that's what we don't want to do. The shiny object syndrome, bouncing back and forth. So again, think about, okay, how do we know that, yes, it is actually time to pivot right now? And a few different ideas. And as ever, we'll explore this in more detail on the Reimagining Success podcast. So do check that out over on your favorite podcast app. The new episode will come out on Thursday as ever. Make sure you subscribe so you get the latest episode every week. So a few different scenarios. One might be that you actually thought you had a great idea, you did have a great idea, but as it turns out, so did the rest of the world. And you might be in a really saturated market. Now again, this is a tricky one because most markets now are saturated. However, it might be that you just find there are too many fish, too many sharks in the ocean. You may have heard of the book, The Blue Ocean Strategy. So the idea that there's a red ocean where all the sharks are fighting and killing and so on, and there's blood everywhere, so it's red. Or there's the blue ocean, which is where you're really unique. You found that sort of little area to niche down into. Now, again, most markets are saturated now, but you still need to be able to have some kind of unique selling point, some way in which you're going to have a competitive edge, stand out, deliver a better service, and whatever that might be. So if you're really finding that you've done all the things, you've really worked hard to position yourself, and you just can't find a way in which you can rise above the masses, become more than a commodity, you're just competing on price and so on, it might be an opportunity to either narrow down, so actually get more niched and more specific, so you become the go-to person for this particular narrow specialty, or it might be time to pivot, change direction towards something else. So that's one scenario, maybe the market is really saturated. Another one, of course, is if you're getting feedback from prospects, from clients, that you know what, this that you're providing is not what we need right now. Maybe they're telling you, that's not really very useful for us, this is our priority right now. And it could be that you're able to help them just with a little bit of a tweak, a little bit of repositioning with this other thing that is so important to them. So if you're getting feedback from prospects, if people aren't buying your products and services, and there seems to be a very clear reason for that, it might be time to pivot as well. Another reason, and this is an important one for me, is that you're not feeling aligned anymore to the business. Maybe when you started, your personal situation was different, your lifestyle, your values even have evolved, your vision was this particular idea. I talk about defining success for you. Now that definition of success is going to evolve. So you don't want to be wedded to an idea just because, you know what, I told everybody this is what I was going to do and I put in all this time and effort into this business idea and I just don't want to abandon it. Completely get that, but sometimes we have to have a little bit of pain now to avoid a lot of pain later on. So if you're really feeling uncomfortable, unexcited, if that's a word, frustrated, and you just don't feel like this is something you want to do, and believe me, I've been there, I've had this experience myself, maybe it is time to let go, to pivot, to go in the direction of something else where you really have an exciting idea. Again, not just shiny object, but something where you've really done the market research, you know that this is going to fit in the way you do or you live your life much better. Now, of course, when we're pivoting, a few things to think about. do the due diligence, the market research. Don't just jump into something else, because something that we know little about is probably going to be something that looks really easy, just like our initial business idea. And then again, once we get into it, it becomes much more complicated, much harder, and that's when we start giving up. So make sure you've done the research before you launch yourself into something. Make sure you try to use as much as possible of what you already have. So don't scrap everything. Really think about, okay, how can you leverage the platform, the software, the ideas, and of course your existing skills and experience. And above all, don't jump ship until you have this new income stream up and running. So don't completely shoot yourself in the foot. Abandon what is currently working, if it is working, until you have this new income stream working. So you're going to have to balance the two in the short term and then gradually shift more in that new direction. So a few ideas there on how to know when it's time to pivot. Again, probably you should be sticking with something longer than you realise, because everything takes longer than we realise to build the audience, to refine our proposition, our messaging, and to actually get those clients and to evolve our products and services until they really are important and valuable enough to build a sustainable business on that. However, there might be some scenarios, and we've touched on a few of those today, when it is time to pivot and tweak and learn and evolve. Hope you found that valuable, and I'll see you back here next week. Bye for now.